Welcome to the Down the Middle podcast. Joel and H. Geez, I actually almost said Shane there. That would have been wrong. What's going on, big fella? Little hiatus in between episode 50 and 51. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Unfortunately, the boys couldn't get together. Well, sorry, me and you couldn't get together last week. Um,
I went to
yeah,
Comesy last week. It was my birthday. Not
I,
last week, the week before was my birthday. Anyway, things just didn't line up last week.
I tried to do one last week, but then I couldn't figure out the Zoom recording like by yourself kind of thing. So I was like, rightio,
The record button doesn't always work. So,
yeah,
but I didn't
yeah.
have time to tell you that while I was boot scooting
Oh
at
yeah.
Comesy.
And then I was like, oh, I'll just hop on the app and do just a voice one. But I was like, oh. By the time I was frustrated, I'm like, it was a past 8:30, so I'm like, nah, rightio, no, none,
We like the
no.
video. The battlers like the video. So if there's no video, I reckon that's fair. I think they'll be due for this one. Obviously, no, that's what it was last week. The Tillies were playing on Wednesday night,
The Chili's
where
were
we
playing Wednesday, and then Coomsy, Combs, whatever you want to pronounce.
Comesy, mate. The Tillies were playing. Let's go into the World Cup, mate. We decided we're going to do good, bad, awesome. I don't think there was anything
Yeah.
really ugly. Usually you go good, bad, ugly. I don't think there was much ugly. Um, Anything general from the World Cup before we go good, bad, awesome?
I think it was obviously they say it's probably the best women's World Cup that has been produced. So that's a pretty good stat that sort of Australian people can put towards.
Some serious numbers, not only on TV but bums on seats.
Yeah,
I was talking to a bloke that was a couple of years below us at school, actually. Saw him at the City to Surf the other week. So we're sitting on the train having a chat. That was must have just still been the group stages. He said he went to 5 games. He'd been to five
really.
games. He loves it.
Wow.
He's I'll say football, nut, soccer. Um, but he'd been to 5 games. He went to a Friday or a Thursday game at like 11 a.m. He said there was like 25,000 people there. I just
I was going
went,
to say I didn't see too many like empty stadiums, kind of like obviously they're all not all sellouts, but like you'd probably have like 80%, 90% capacity. Oh,
yeah.
it's a bit numbers, that.
But like
Um,
to go into Sydney Olympic Park on a Friday morning, like he said,
mm,
I can't remember if it was 11 a.m. kickoff or midday kickoff, but like it's a
yeah,
Friday. Most people are still working because it was one of the group games. It was
yeah,
just a random one. 20 something thousand people there. That's mad. So I
it's
think
pretty
I
good.
think they did a good job. Getting enough people out here, getting the buzz. They certainly did a good job. So pretty mad,
Yeah,
pretty
and
good.
obviously it does help how the Matildas did pretty good as well. So I feel like people wanted to get out there, see all the games, sort of,
Well,
and obviously
that
all the other people. Everyone's obviously we're a multicultural country out here, so a lot of European people are probably able to see their teams in a World Cup.
yeah, I reckon most of the fans would have been Aussies. Well, when I say Aussies, like people living here. I don't know how much travel there would have been coming into Australia, but it's pretty damn good to see. Like you said, all those countries represented in fan bases.
I did see a video actually. Some people flew in from Manchester the day of the grand final of the World Cup final. Sorry, they flew
Yeah.
in 6 a.m. and they were flying out 6 a.m. the next day. Imagine
Jeez.
imagine flying all that way to see your team lose, and then you got to sleep and then hop back on a plane. Um,
That's rough. That's dedicated. But in saying
it's
that,
dedication.
that's dedication, and I think again we talk about being a women's World Cup. That's where the women's game's at the moment.
Mm.
That there is fans traveling internationally for one day. Like imagine how much that's going to cost you. First of all, tickets to the game. That's got to be in the. Is it in the hundreds or
I
is
don't
it
know. I
is it
think because
more?
it went through FIFA,
Is
I
it all
don't think they were.
regulated?
I don't think they would have been too like. It would have been pricey, obviously, but like not a not like it would be sort of just for a Premier League game or something like that kind of thing, where they can sort of scalp the tickets a bit and
Yeah.
3,
But
4
still,
times for it.
you're
But still
paying
dedication.
thousands to get over here, thousands to get back, probably. So
Yeah.
yeah, good on them. Good, bad, awesome. What do you have as your good? And we just agreed, battlers, for anyone doing their own good, bad, awesome, whilst listening, we agreed we couldn't put the Matildas in as our good. We wanted to spread the love. What was your good?
My good would have to probably be. I'm just going through sort of the table. The table sort of want to go there. Probably Jamaica. I reckon Jamaica first World Cup, the women's making it into the knockout stages. I think that's my good. Obviously as we're going good, bad, awesome. I've probably got another team there I can probably put in there, but definitely for the good category, mate. Jamaica, 5 points, 1 win, 2 draws. That's pretty good, especially how they had France, Brazil, and Panama in their group stages. I think that's a pretty good result by them. So I think that's a pretty steady good.
I'm sticking to the same side of the draw. I went Nigeria up against us. I'm going to say we were probably the favourites as far as fan favourites. Not necessarily betting favourites, but still probably within that top 4, which is where we finished. I'm going to go Nigeria. The game they played against us was actually really good. And I think for them to get into the finals with a nation like Canada and us,
even Ireland, like they're not like a shit country as well, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
well,
I mean, a lot of people were sort of saying this was sort of the group of death, or sort of like one of the 2 hardest groups in the World Cup this year.
Absolutely. And then 0-0 draw against England. Obviously, they lost on pens. But 0-0 draw against England, who made it to the final. That to me is a damn good effort from a team that I'm pretty sure weren't even getting paid. May have even had to pay for their own jerseys and stuff to wear.
Think it would have been. I don't think the football sort of federation would be much
right.
Funding,
I'm pretty sure they were getting a bit of Twitter hate actually during the tournament. So that's my good. That's who I had up on the goods. My bad. I'm going with USA. USA not topping their group and then bowing out in the round of 16 in penalties against Sweden. I just think that's a massive, and I don't know about bad, maybe underachievement. That's a massive.
And that's the problem for not topping their group.
Absolutely. Because where did we decide they would have been? I think we looked at that the other week. They would have been Netherlands. They would have played against South Africa, and to be honest, they probably beat South Africa. Netherlands beat them 2-0. Yep. I just think
then they would have versed Sweden, but you can say right here, well, that's.
Well, they could have got back to Sweden eventually, but they would have had to go up against Spain, I think, if they beat South Africa. I just think that's a massive underachievement for the USA, and they should be, I don't know about embarrassed, but they should be pretty upset with that, especially
by the American media. Like,
yeah,
especially like whatever her name is, the
Alex Morgan.
No,
the other one there. Yeah. Sure. I can't remember.
She took a lot of the heat, sort of, with how she, as we said,
that penalty
in the podcast, with the penalty, laughing, joking it off.
Yeah.
I think they all sort of thought it was a bit of a big joke. And
I
think it definitely backfired, obviously, with the worst. I think that's their worst performance in the World Cup.
Yeah. So sucked in. Did you have an underachiever or a bad moment?
I did. I got 2 teams, actually. I got Germany and Brazil both coming third in their groups. Both obviously very football heritage countries. I think, especially when you sort of look, Brazil's got Jamaica and Panama in their group with France. I think France and Brazil are pretty much, 9 times out of 10, I feel like they would get out of the group. And Germany, having Morocco and South Korea. Obviously, South Korea didn't really do too much. But
Germany were, I think when we looked at the odds, Germany were up up the top.
I think they were second or third favourites, I think.
Yeah. And they're a top 10 side or a top 5 side. No, top 3,
Well,
weren't
they're
they?
top two. They're top two. They're the
Top
second
2.
best team in the world. So
Yeah.
it's another reason why. But that's why I think sometimes the topper teams try and take it a bit easy in the first 2 games in the group stage. But unfortunately, Germany did that, and then they couldn't do too
Couldn't come
much in
back.
the third game, trying to make up
Yeah.
too much
Couldn't
ground.
come
So
back.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, my awesome moment, it's obviously the Tillies. Getting into that semi. It's was really quite a disappointing finish to lose the semi 3-1 and then to lose third place 2-0. You could see in that third place match that it just wasn't there. But again, we talk about Australia as a sporting nation, Australia as a soccer nation. We've been busting our butt to get into this World Cup sort of arena over the last 20 odd years, since the 2006 Socceroos. And I think the Matildas sort of took it that step further. And again, we talk about the amount of people watching was bigger than State of Origin, which for us is probably the epitome of sport during the year. So awesome. I had Eleanor on Monday. Dad, we watched the soccer. I'm not going to bed. We watched the soccer. I'm like, babe, the soccer's finished.
Done, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I had her watching mostly the Aussie games. If they were on at 7:30 or the 5:30 games that we're on, I'm like, babe, come on, sit down. We're gonna have dinner and we're gonna watch the soccer. And she was loving it. She was going to bed late because she was falling asleep on the lounge watching the soccer. And I think, just having that opportunity to have sport on during the week for me is good. But she didn't necessarily know that they were girls playing or whatever. But it's something cool that got her going. Absolutely. So that was my awesome moment, especially having Elle wanting to watch the soccer. I'm like, babe, it's all done. Sorry, mate. I'd love to be watching it too, but it's done.
Fair enough. My awesome moment, I think it's the winners, Spain. I do like it when it's sort of not one of the sort of like top 5 teams.
Yeah.
I think they're like 6 or something like that. But it's good to see sort of just someone else winning it, doing it the hard way as well. Like, it's not like they didn't get sort of bad teams. Obviously, like, they had to beat the Netherlands in the quarterfinals.
They had a hard run.
Sweden in the semis, England in the finals. Probably obviously round of 16 they beat Switzerland 5-1. So that's probably easy, but they had a last 3 games pretty tough. And they did it pretty good. So I feel like that's my awesome moment of it, and it'll be interesting to see how they go, because I know the Euros I think are coming up soon for the women's,
and they came second in their group. Japan won 3 from 3.
Yeah.
So Spain got beaten by Japan. They beat who did they beat? What are those teams? CRC. What's CRC?
Norway. They beat Norway and then lost to Sweden. Japan did. Is that right? Yeah.
No, I was looking at their group. Anyway, regardless. Look, yeah, Spain didn't even top their group, and they've gone
Costa Rica and Zambia.
Oh, Costa Rica. Is that what CRC is? Zambia. Yeah, I was getting Zambia. The Costa Rica got me. Anyway, but look, didn't top their group and then got all the way and then to beat England, one of the powerhouses. Massive. So
good to see.
Good on them.
Don't mind it.
Especially after the Ashes. It was nice, wasn't it?
It
was just a little.
A lot of people going to Piers Morgan.
Oh, so many people.
He was so, he got a lot of hate. Obviously, he was so passionate about when they beat the Matildas, and then everyone's just like, the whole world.
I scrolled through like my Instagram.
No one wants England to win because of you, buddy. Like, everyone hates you.
Literally. Yeah, there was a lot of screenshots of some Twitter posts the day after. But
yeah, definitely.
Unlucky Pierce. H last episode, we started chatting about it. Give us an update on the FedEx Cup if you've got it. I'm just grabbing my notes here.
So obviously we've had the FedEx St. Jude 2 weeks ago with Lucas Glover winning back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, big from Lucas Glover actually.
Yeah, and then last week, obviously, we had the BMW Championship that we did put out on the socials there with Victor Hovland shooting a record-breaking 61. It's the lowest fourth-round score in the FedEx
Really?
like series kind of thing, like the
Yeah.
sort of. So yeah, it's the lowest fourth-round score ever, and obviously he shot 9 under to win by 2 shots against Scotty Scheffler and Matt Fitzpatrick. So it was quite good. And then obviously this week we have the Tour Championship. Just getting that up now. With obviously Scotty Scheffler ranked number 1, so he's going to be starting. So this is
our final
for people
round,
that
isn't it?
don't know. Yeah, this is the final round. So this is when
talk us through the setup of it. Yep.
So obviously at the end of you go into the top 70, top 50 start, and then top 30, and then the last 30 start this Tour Championship, and it all goes off a handicap system of if you're ranked number 1 in the FedEx standings, you're going to get an advantage, obviously. And it's so hard to find this.
Have you got it?
Right, yeah, here we go. Oh my
So
God.
Scotty Scheffler, we'll start from Scotty
that.
Scheffler. So Scotty Scheffler starts at 10 under because he's ranked number 1 now at the end of whatever. With the win that Victor had on the weekend, he's starting at 8 under. So there's an advantage, battlers, if you're following along. There's an advantage for obviously making the FedEx Series and then being the best ranked player by the end of that series. You actually, when I first saw it, I was like, that's dumb. They should get the least amount of shots. But I'm like, well, no, they've actually been the best golfer over the years, so they get the advantage at the end. And it's only 1 or 2 shots. So
and you accumulate these points over with how many tournaments you play through the year as well. Obviously,
absolutely.
You get more with winning top 5, top 10, so on and so on.
So these guys thought they do deserve it. And then, but these last tournaments that like Lucas Glover
massive, I think they're like 5,000 points or something.
They're big point stuff. So you can jump up the rankings, but obviously you've got to be there first. So yeah, Scotty -10, Victor -8, Rory -7, Johnny Rahm -6. Lucas, he didn't play very well the last one.
He was ranked number 1 going into this week.
Yeah, so
he's lost 4 shots. That's a lot.
4-shot swing. That's massive.
And he hasn't been going. He didn't do too good in St. Jude in the BMW Championship either.
Yeah. So I'm probably, I don't want to count him out, but I don't know. Lucas Glover at -5. There's a number of people on 4 under. So that's Maxi Homer, Patrick Cantlay, Brian Harmon, Wyndham Clark, Matt Fitzpatrick. 3 unders, Tommy Fleetwood, Russell Henley, Keegan Bradley, Ricky Fowler is there. 7 shots off the pace, not too bad. Xander Schauffele. Anyway, so on and so forth. With the last 5 players, Sam Burns, Emilio Grillo, Tyrrell Hatton, Jordan Spieth, Sepp Striker, they're all at even.
Spiethy only just made him 29. So
yeah,
crazy. It's crazy to think like some of these, I don't know. Has he ever won the FedEx?
Spieth, I don't know about the FedEx because our last couple of winners have been Rory and
Rory won last year.
Scotty the year before, I think I remember watching him.
I think so.
Up against Bryson or Patrick Cantlay.
No, I think Patrick Cantlay and Bryson, they went to the playoff holes and stuff like that.
Maybe it was them. Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting one.
Where does your head go as far as
obviously, like a 2-shot lead is massive. Obviously, like you got a 2-shot lead straight away off. But to tell you what, to go through I'd love if Hovland won it. We obviously Shane loves him, but we very much like him as well. He's like that sort of new generation.
One of the young guys. Yeah.
especially
European.
coming through. Yeah. And I would really like him to win it, or sort of the favourite I've been going to the last couple of weeks, Maxi Homer. I think 6 shots is a lot. Sort of to game, but you only need one good round and everyone to have sort of a mediocre round, and you win it. Obviously, you got 4 rounds still, no cut. Don't have to worry about that.
If you have a 6 or 7 under round, you can jump a lot of spots.
And if everyone
Especially
else has a 2 or 3, it's
absolutely.
massive.
Look, it's hard to go away from Scotty when your Max Homers, your Patrick Cantlays, your Matt Fitzpatrick's, they're all at 4 under. Like, that's a lot. Johnny Rahm, I think, is probably one that can chase. Unfortunately, Rory McIlroy is one that can chase from only 3 shots behind.
And obviously, he did it last year as well. Scotty sort of choking a little bit in the last sort of 9 holes. It's probably the only person out of the top 30 I don't want to win it. I hate people going back to back. I know he's a good golfer and everything like that, but
look, the odds I think have got Scotty, Rory, Victor, John, Patrick Cantlay in that order, with the first 4 at sort of under $10, and then Patrick Cantlay jumps up to about 19. So they're sort of thinking that top 4, that top 5, that's where it's going to be. That's where it's going to be won. Let's have a look at past results.
I don't see $4.50 for Rory is a joke. That's the media hype.
Rory only won by one shot last year.
Yeah, but that's because Scheffler bogeyed 17 or something like that, and then he birdied 17. Like, I know you got to play what you are, but yeah,
the year before.
It's interesting. I think $6.50 is probably a little bit under for Victor as well. Thought he might be a little bit higher up. I probably would have had a double with him maybe if he was $8 or more. But so
yeah,
I don't know. I think you can probably get a good price with someone after round 1, I reckon. Depending on the scoreboard or the leaderboard, sorry. But yeah. And each legs are hard. Each legs are hard.
Absolutely. I'm gonna go Johnny.
You on John Rahm?
Yeah. I reckon he'll have enough fire in his belly to go, you know what? I've been taking the piss the last couple of weeks.
He's gonna have to come out and just be laser focused and
I think he's got that in him. He doesn't often play.
Him and Rory are going to be paired because they go by the numbers.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, obviously. So it'll be interesting to see how Hovland goes with Scotty for obviously first round, then they change it up. I don't know if that'd be a little bit too intimidating for him.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think that could be too much for young Vic? Whereas Rory and John, well, they're just going to play. They're not going to be worried too much about it.
Exactly right. They've won majors. They've been around for a little bit longer. But yeah, interesting. And then we can probably talk about it next week. We've got the first 5 got picked by the Ryder Cup for USA, but I think we'll dive more into that when
once this is done.
Both are fully named.
There's going to be a couple of big names that don't get a run.
And tell you what, I looked at the betting today. They got the Europeans at $2.80, and I really like that. I think they got the Americans at $1.60, I think it is. But
$2.80, that's pretty juicy.
A lot of people, like even the golfing experts, like even American, are going sort of with Wyndham Clark and Lucas Glover, going good, so they get automatic spots. And people are like, yes, they've been playing good, but
can they compete? Like, yeah.
And especially now, Zach Johnson's got to decide. He's got obviously 2 massive. He's got a lot of live boys that have played before. Dustin Johnson, Patrick Reed, Bryson DeChambeau, and Brooks Koepka. You can pick them 4 and be like, that's a pretty good team. But obviously, not everyone's going to get picked because then you got Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, Xander Schauffele, Colin Morikawa, Like you got some of these big names that the USA aren't going to be the USA of 2 years ago.
No.
When it was in America. So
yeah, right. You're 100% right. I have noticed, obviously, that especially with the live contingent that have been sort of
those are massive spanner in the works, even
yeah.
for the European side as well. Like, you got a couple of older boys there that have won it.
Yeah, and especially like, again, talk about that experience. John Rahm, he's won majors, he's played majors, he's played with the best, he's played with Tiger. That experience doesn't just like that makes a difference in those big, and it can make a difference for me and you playing together, or who's around the team, and what I can add to you and what you can add to my game and those sorts of things. So not having those, just even not having those blokes around, like the likes of Phil Mickelson and stuff, that's a
on the European, Sergio Garcia, he's the most decorated European.
Yep.
Like player. He's won the most points.
He's gone.
He's won the most matches. And he's not going to get. He's not. I don't think he's going to get picked. I don't think the Europeans are going to fall into the trap of picking the live players. I don't think they're sort of a bit more of a. And this is where I say I think they trust the players a bit more on the PGA. They go, you know what? It's time to bring these younger guys up. But the USA are going, oh, what do we do? Do we pick it? Like, do we pick the live boys? Because I think they know that the gap's definitely closed since 2 years ago. And I think they're really struggling. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how Zach Johnson goes with the captain picks.
I also don't think that Europe can do it with Rory still in the team.
The thing is, they've won it the last 2 times in Europe. And I don't know where it is this year.
I haven't looked yet.
But it's obviously in Europe, but we don't know where. Just looking at it now. I'm going to pick out. Might be in Italy.
We might be. We need someone in the background doing our research for us.
Marco Simeone Golf Club.
That is Italy.
It is Italy, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. I thought, because I know it was in France 4 years or 5 years ago.
Yeah, okay.
They wiped them off before. And that's when they still had, I remember I still watched a video, Tommy Fleetwood, Sergio Garcia, and Francesco Molinari. Then him and Garcia, I think they went 4-0 on the weekend.
So what, I think Molinari's got a decent record in the Ryder.
Yeah. So yeah, interesting. And you look back in the USA, they had Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, Dustin Johnson, world number 1.
Actually, can I deviate here? Speaking of Phil, have you read the stuff about his gambling?
Yeah, I know. They reckon it's $1 billion.
They reckon in the last, was it 10, 20? Must have been the last 20 years. He has spent $1 billion on gambling.
You know what? Everyone goes, oh, that's so bad. I'm like, it's his money.
Well, that's true. That's true. And he's got it.
And
I don't think he's in debt.
And he came out and said, I've never betted on someone, and I've never betted on golf events that I was included in. So
there was a thing that he wanted someone to bet on the 2012 Ryder Cup.
Oh, really?
I think so. I think he wanted someone to put $400K on USA to win the Ryder. But again, if you're backing yourself, if you're backing yourself,
if he's backing Europe, and then okay, rightio, there's a bit of
that's what I reckon. I'm like,
say, why would he put $400K and go, rightio, boys, I want us to lose?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Or go over to Europe and say, hey, why don't you miss a couple of putts and I'll give you a cut? I don't think so. Because they're not going to let USA just win just for a bit of cash. Anyway, but I think I think I read something like, I can't remember where it was, but like baseball in one day, he spent about $1 million on like $100,000 bets.
Give me the money.
But like $100,000 on $10 shots. You know what I mean? Or like $90 shots. just to win
Imagine,
win another 100 grand.
imagine if that he goes, radio boys, to our group of punters, radio boys, you're going around with this week. It's a 10 race card. You got 100K each race. Imagine that. Imagine the boys. I'd have to take control of the money because Shane and Buddy Kyle would put on a freaking $30 long shot and be like, "Oh, where is it? It's been shot in the corner."
Well, I'd back the $5 favourite that he'd come last, so that'd be good. Floaty would forget to put his bet on and he'd put it on a harness at an angle later that day.
Boys, I haven't got my top up. But yeah.
Shout out to Floaty. Good on you, mate.
Yeah.
Back's a couple of winners in there. Did you get a winner on the weekend? I didn't.
I didn't know. My multi-favourite won.
I backed something that I thought was actually safe. Not even close. Anyway.
Both my multis actually. That was good.
Your multi was going good though, the try scorer one.
Yeah.
What? You got the first 3 out of 6, I think. 4 out of 6.
Yeah.
You want to look at the footy?
Doing the footy, mate.
I'll go through.
You're going to go through 24 and 25?
It's 25. 24. It's too far away. 25.
Yeah.
Let's kick off last week. Thursday game. Go the Sharks.
Best game.
Go the Sharkies. And mate, a lot of people were going for the Cows, not the top of the ladder. The top of the ladder and the tipping comp.
Actually,
most of them went
I'll
Sharks.
go back to round 24 for 2 seconds. Me and Shane got a full round. Joker round, full round. That's good.
I got a full round too, mate. Wasn't hard.
Yeah, but you didn't get Joker, so
Nah, I used my Joker when I got 4 out of 8. Stupid freaking thing. Actually, I think I went all right last week. I think I got 6, so it's pretty good. Sharks beat the Cows. Sharks needed that. Cows didn't need that. They're outside the 8, I think. The Warriors flying in 3rd spot. They beat the Seagulls 29-22. I tipped the Warriors. I didn't get this game, and
I don't know. We talked about it. I don't know why he took Parramatta, mate. No Moses, just.
Yeah, I just sort of forgot about that. But I just didn't want the Roosters to win, so I was just trying to, come on.
And you said before the week, this is going to be my sort of try and get 1 or 2 upsets kind of thing, like.
That was one of them.
So
anyway, 34-12, one on the Chuggies. They're still sitting in 10th, so we'll double check the ladder with two rounds to go, but I think they're done. The Tigers, who I thought I backed and I didn't. I'm pretty sure I did click the Tigers at the start of the week and then I changed it. I wasn't happy because I was whipping them home all afternoon, and then I looked. Anyway, well done the Tigers. They stayed at 17.
I switched mine to the Tigers about 5 minutes before kickoff. I went, I reckon everyone's going to go Tigers. Go with the pack. I didn't want to. I wanted the Dolphins, really? But I went. Yeah. So, but thankfully, it worked out well.
Good tip. Yeah. Look, I was fully convinced I picked the Tigers. I should just start checking that shit. But anyway, I didn't. Panthers.
Or just do it right once, mate. You don't have to check.
Yeah, I know. Panthers easy, 40-14 over the Titans. The next game, I did get this one right. Storm 38-28. I was very, very prepared.
It would have been good. That would have been a good, nice kickoff. Would have been a nice one.
But Dragons, some good signs from some of the young blokes that have been brought in, but just not strong enough. Not strong enough.
How we go?
Knights for Rabbitohs. I'm pretty sure I got the Knights. 29-10.
I'm sort of in a position like you with the Tigers and Dolphins, but I really, really thought I tipped Newcastle. So I didn't even check that until after the game. I'm going, how good is this? I'm going back-to-back full rounds.
No.
7. I went, I took Souths. No way. I was devastated. I reckon I would have won the tipping comp.
How do I check last week? Can I check last week what I got?
Yeah, you just go to leaderboard, mate. Tells you.
How do I check last week though?
No, you just go to leaderboard and it tells you what you got last week.
Well, 6, yeah, but I want to know who I tipped. Can't remember. Oh, no, here we go. Yep, Knights. I was only one of 4 out of our comp. All you blokes in the top 10 tipped the South.
I wanted to take Newcastle, mate. I wanted to take Newcastle.
I wanted to take the Tigers. Anyway, go the Knights. Knights into the top 8. I think that's really good. And Rabbitoh's sitting on 8th. We'll double check the ladder after we do our tips. And then the Raiders 36-24 of the Dogs probably gave away too many points to the Dogs, if I'm honest. But did enough to get the win, so that's fine. Broncos got the bye. That's probably pretty good for them heading into the last 2 rounds. Rest up, get 2 points. Yeah, let's look at this round.
Easy. Kicking off tomorrow night, you got the Penrith Panthers versus the Parramatta Eels out at Bluebet Stadium at Penrith. Penrith are $1.08 favourites. The Parramatta Eels $8. I think it's pretty much like last week. No Moses, no Parramatta. Penrith are resting a couple of people. They did rest a couple of people last week as well. But
have a look.
The main was Sorensen, Kenny, and
Dylan Edwards else is out. Taruva's out.
Oh, because they did get named. So there you go. So then they've done a little late switch again. So yeah. So I still think
I'm going to tip them by 16.
I had them at 14. I think I got them at 14. So I think we're both going to go 13 plus.
Yeah.
And then they'll officially dash Parramatta's finals push.
Yeah, go on.
Then, mate, the first game Friday night, the Warriors versus your St. George, the Warrior Dragons, mate. $1.14 favourites. I think obviously they should be favourites, but I think $1.14 is a bit of a kick in the guts to the Dragons. The Warriors have been a bit plain the last 3 weeks, to tell you the truth. I don't think they've been as good as everyone's been saying. They just beat Manly, just beat the Tigers.
Yeah, I guess.
I do see them winning the game, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's another 1 to 12 game.
I think if the Dragons have that little middle section like they did last week against the Storm, they could topple a team like the Warriors. Warriors might come unstuck. Although I'm pretty sure the other week when they played the Warriors whacked them. So I'll be tipping the Warriors and I'll be supporting the Dragons, obviously.
Definitely. Then you got the second game, the Dolphins versus the North Queensland Cowboys up at Suncorp Stadium. The Dolphins are obviously struggling a bit. They did pretty good against the Tigers last week, but now you're versing the Cowboys. They're on a 3-match losing skid themselves, but I do see the Cowboys probably winning this 13 plus, especially after last week. I think they're going to bounce back pretty good.
I think if we look at the ladder, Cowboys on 28 points. Cowboys need to win this game to be any sort of chance.
Because South Sydney gets 2 points already because they've got the bye. So they need to win to keep in touch.
So they've got the points differential if they can win. If they can win, they've got the points differential. I think that'll be enough to spur the Cowboys to victory.
I think they win this week, but I don't think they win next week. But obviously that's for next week's podcast.
Yep.
Then the first game on the Super Saturday is Melbourne Storm versus Gold Coast Titans down at Amy Park. Another game. All these games are very, very heavy favourites.
Lopsided, aren't they?
Yeah. Storm they were very good 2 weeks ago, then a bit plain last week. I don't know if it's sort of only playing in Melbourne that they will sort of turn up for the games. I do like the Titans at $7, but I'll probably maybe look at taking the line.
Okay, Shane.
I think that one's a perfect sort of maybe 18.5 start by the Titans. I'll take them with that.
18.5. Hey, we didn't get to talk about because we didn't record last week. 2 huge re-signings in
Tino.
What's his name? I was going to say his last name. I just had a blank of like I'm not going to be able to say that.
Tino and David feet up.
Yes, Tino and David. 10 years. 10 years for Tino.
I think it's 10 years for Tino. Yeah, he's only 23, so massive contract. But look, He's captain of the club already.
Big money.
Queensland, Australian representation.
It's big money.
But I think they know that's a good one to do. They didn't do too well when they threw the money at Cherry Evans. I think he was a bit of a no one, but I think that's definitely. And then Dave Fafita wanted to stick with him, play with him. So I think they're two massive re-signings there. They still got Brimson, Tanner Boyd, Verrills, and Hooker. I think give them 1 or 2 more years, everyone stays healthy.
Top 8 side. Do you reckon? This is obviously a projecting a long way into the future. You reckon they stick out there 10 years?
Tino does. Dave Fafita doesn't.
No. Yeah, you know what? I agree with you. I don't think David Fafita's got it in him. Did they both go for 10 years?
I think they both went for 10 years. I think so. I'm not quite. Don't quote me on Dave Fafita one, but I think because the salary cap's going to keep going up and up, and if another team comes in, teams are going to lose some players, and then they're going to go searching for the bottom teams and try and pick what they can.
Dave Fafita extended to the end of 2026.
Oh, it's only 3 years. Wow.
4, 5, 6. Yeah, he'd probably stay. But yeah,
well, I reckon he leaves after
Tino was until the end of 33.
I mean, Tino sticks it out. Dave Fafita gone at the end of 26.
I think he'll try and find another club at the end of that. Anyway, Storm for me this week.
Definitely. Then the second game, Sydney Roosters versus West Tigers out at Allianz Stadium. Another lopsided favourite, as we said, $1.17. I think the Roosters win just because of too much on the line. Benji Marshall, the new coach, technically not officially the new coach of the West Tigers, but
Is
Tim
he?
Sheen stepping down at the end of the season, but
Benji's I thought that's what I was saying.
He's taking control of everything.
Yeah.
So he's won as a coach. So it would be good to see him maybe do a bit of a massive upset. I think.
You know what? I might just tip the Tigers, stuff the Roosters.
No Teddy. He got cussed last week. So
that's for all the Tigers fans out there. Shout out. Brighton Noble. That's for you, Beach.
Then the last game for Super Saturday, Canberra Raiders versus Brisbane Broncos. Brisbane Broncos favourites $1.30. I think that's pretty good. No Adam Reynolds for Brisbane, but Raiders are on the downhill slide. Even after last week's win, it was only against the Dogs, so you can't read too much into that.
Yeah, Bronx for me.
Bronx for me.
Sure, they got Jock Madden in from Reynolds. Yeah,
he did pretty good when he played there a couple of weeks ago as well. Then the first game of the Sunday games, the Canterbury Bulldogs versus Manly Seagulls. It's probably the only playing game of the weekend with two teams that can't make finals anymore. So no Garrett for the Manly team this week.
Cool.
I'm actually fancying the Bulldogs. I'm going to tip the Bulldogs in that one.
I'm going to go the Doggies too. I think
out of the core stadium. Hoping it's a nice sunny day. We'll see, and you know what? Maybe they don't want to. They can jump. Oh, they can't jump too many spots because their foreign against is shocking. So it's the
They could not do too much from there.
Yeah.
They could stay exactly where they are.
Maybe 24 points if Dolphins and Titans don't win a game, they can go to 13.
Hey, look, if the Dolphins lose by 200 and the Bulldogs win, you never know, they might jump.
Yeah. But yeah. And then the last game, wrapping it off, I think it's probably game of the round. Newcastle Knights on a massive 7-game win streak, I think it is. Against Mike Cronulla Sharks.
What's the Sharkies team list look like?
It's unchanged, mate. Unchanged since last week. Last week was our best 80-minute performance that we've put out all year. Not too many errors, not too many penalties. I think we went 17 from 17 the first sets. But unfortunately, I will be tipping the Newcastle Knights. It's up in Newcastle. mate, they're on a hot streak of form. 7 in a row. Ponga's been killing it in fullback. Hastings being named. He didn't play last week, but Marzu, Dom Young, yeah,
Okay. Okay.
I think they're sort of a bit too much for us. I think I would love a win because then it would sort of try and keep us in the rest of the top 4, but I don't see that happening, unfortunately. But yeah, I'll be tipping Newcastle Knights.
I'm tipping Newcastle Knights too. And that will take them. Geez, if they win that, they'll go ahead of you.
Yeah,
They'll go
they'll
up in the
on
fifth.
the odd points. Yeah,
Maybe 6 because Raiders probably win. Yeah.
no,
Okay.
they've got Brisbane, so I think
Oh no,
they
Brisbane
can.
got. Sorry. Okay, so they could go up into fifth with Sharks, Raiders, and probably Rabbitohs all
And I
banging around,
wouldn't
dropping down.
mind my Sharkies to probably finish 6 so we can get the Raiders. I think that's a bit of an easier
That's
one. I
true.
think you get the Roosters, Rabbits, Cowboys. You don't know what they're going to offer. They're a team that can do anything on the day. So
Yeah, Raiders probably a little bit more. What you see is what you get.
yeah,
Okay.
definitely. And I do want to do the first week of finals. I'll find the app that we're actually going to go through the brackets. We're going to call it right there of who's going to win the premiership. That first week of finals, we go rightio, first, fourth. Winner obviously gets a week off. We go through the whole elimination bracket there live, and then we can say full finals, and then at the end of the finals, we go rightio. Who had the best one? We'll screenshot them
Absolutely.
for an end season review.
Love it.
Probably just be me and you. I don't think they have a bloke will pop on.
We'll have to look.
Anyway.
We'll have to look after next week at our ladder predictions again.
Yeah, we'll do that.
We were way off.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think
Got
mine would be too bad actually.
mine might go okay if you make some exceptions for teams that I obviously gave too much confidence to.
To tell you the truth, looking at it, I think I might have the bottom 1, 2, 4. The top 6, the bottom 6. I reckon I had them in my 6, but I don't think I had them in order.
You had the Knights down there too, though, didn't you?
I think I had them at 10th, didn't I? Ooh, they might be the ones maybe.
We will find those lists and we will review. Mate, I'm going to jump over to SuperCoach before we go to the tipping because I want to talk about your fantastic round last week. 1,499 SuperCoach points. Yep. Holy shit. That's a good round.
Thanks, mate. Well, everything just worked well.
Let me have a look, Nathan. You only captained Nathan Cleary at 93. Is that right?
I had the vice captain on Dallin, and nearly looped, but yeah.
Mate, you didn't even. Oh, okay. So you had. Did you bring in Katoa or did you already have him in?
I did. I brought him in.
Mate, great
go. If I didn't loop Dallin, if I looped Dallin, I wouldn't have brought Katoa in. So that's what it. Technically, I went back, did a bit of maths. I was 60 points better off doing what I did than looping. So
okay. Yeah. Very good. Well, you got 127 with him. Nico got you 108. You got 126 with Dallin. So that's what you need. You need a couple of hundred points. Mazu 120.
I think I had 5, didn't I?
1, 2, 3, 4,
3,
and then you had 4 90s.
Yeah.
As well. So mate, good job. You've taken top spot. You're ahead by total score. You are ahead by about 140, 145. Yeah. Big week for Mitch and yourself.
And Damo's probably a little bit behind, but you only need one good captain choice, and you're back in it definitely.
Yeah, that's true. Look, and so you were talking. You may not have it. I don't know. Do I tell everyone? You may not have 17 this week.
I got 16. Yeah, I got 16 this week, mate. To tell you the truth, you probably go through the whole SuperCoach community. Garrick being out, Latrell having the bye, Johnston, Cody Walker, I think a lot of people will probably have 16 to 17 this week. The loop's definitely going to be the VC loophole's definitely going to be in action.
Who's got the bye?
South Sydney.
Mate, I've got heaps of players. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, and
9,
mate,
10, 11,
you know what the
12,
worst thing is?
13.
Shane's still beating you, mate. He's still beating you by 11 points.
Oh,
So,
actually, I've got Johnson, Garrick, and Taruva. I'm really glad that I didn't play Will Warbrick.
So 3 trades this week. Use a fucking boost.
I
And
might use 2 boosts.
because, mate, you can make up some ground. You can definitely get top 7.
I had Katoa. I had Katoa last week. I didn't play Will Warbrick though. Yeah, played him. He was a reserve. I also had Josh Schuster for 4 points. Useless prick.
Yep.
He is a muppet. How he's on 800k a year.
But he got dropped this week.
Good. He sucks. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna make some trades this week. You just watch. Just watch me. You just tell me a couple of blokes I need to bring in.
Yeah.
And I'll bring it in.
And then switching over to our other comp, mate, the tipping comp.
Yeah, I'm gone.
Myself and Shane on 136, leading by 3 points to Baden on 133. I'm pretty sure it'd be pretty stupid to use your joker in the last round. So I think he held off last week because he didn't know about a couple of games.
Surprising.
But he probably should have done it because then he would have been in the lead by 3.
Maybe this week could be a good week. A lot of favourites that are probably tipped to win. I think probably 2 games that are dodgy.
And then we've got Rocking Horse Road on 132 with Brady. Unfortunately, he jumped off a lot of spots with his joker round. Now he's gone back down. Yourself, mate, in 130 on 6 there.
Yeah, only 6 last week.
And then my brother on 129 with Big BJ, top 8, and then the other boys are dropped down after that. But yeah, definitely, I think Baines is obviously definitely in the hot seat. But I think if 2 or 3 games go a bit of a different way, and the tipping comp goes all the way through to the grand final as well. So,
ooh, okay. So I've still got some time. I'm only 6 away.
I've still got time, okay. But obviously the boys, everyone will be mostly going the same in the finals.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that there can't be some upsets that you might pick.
Oh, no, 100%. You feel, especially in the first 2 weeks of finals, obviously there's 4 games. You only need 1 or 2 upsets, and that's massive. 2 4-point swing.
I might change my tip from Wests back to Roosters. Yeah, I'd like to stay in and amongst it, not drop too far back.
That's the thing. You got to go right. I want these guys to win, but you need to go with the so.
Leave that with me. I might leave it. Anyway, okay, it's tight. It's tight in both. So, SuperCoach will only go till next week, though. Won't go into finals.
SuperCoach will go into next
2 weeks
week.
left.
2 weeks left. Yeah.
2 rounds left. All right. Well, watch this space. We've got the ring on the line for SuperCoach with probably 3 people that can win it, and we've got the game of golf for the tipping comp, which
pretty much only one person can win it.
But you can take you and Shane can still take the bragging rights, but it's looking like it's going to be pretty tight at the top there. Then there's still 3 people, 3 or 4, even your brother, even Beej. Something goes either person's way, and it could be a winner. So, all right, it's good. I love it.
Awesome.
Anything else, mate? Anything sport?
Mate, I think we've covered everything that we should cover this week.
We've covered it. We need some listener feedback, battlers. Let's get back into our DMs. It's
been a bit quiet for the last 2 weeks.
It has been a bit quiet. Look, we've been quiet, fair call, but we need a little bit more. So let us know what you need. Obviously, footy's coming into finals. What do you need? What do you want to hear from us? What do you want to see from us? We just want your feedback. That's all it is.
So,
let's do it.
The good,
all right.
bad, and the ugly.
The good, bad, and the uglies.
And the uglies, yeah, definitely.
All right, battlers. Talk to you.